So good morning if you've just joined us here in Lillehammer, just moments before the start of the women's 20-kilometre classic, mass start, the top seeds out front as you would expect, and a race for the 15,000 Swiss francs prize money, a race for the 100 points for the winner on the World Cup. 95 for second, 90 for third. It's very, very tight this year. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But a field of over 50, 59 I think it was. Yes, no sign so far that anyone's withdrawn. We might get some messages through a little bit later on. Just go and check. No, Teresa Baranova, number 59, she is there. And that's a lot of work to do to get through this group. Very, very tough. It will be slow. There'll be a lot of concertinaing in the early stages at the bottom and the top of every hill. But those who've done best so far this season getting the advantage, which I guess is fair enough. But should we have had more than 3 columns? Stadium is certainly big enough. 4 lanes out on the course, and just a reminder, 6 times round the 3.3 kilometre loop. We saw it in the freestyle race on Friday. Different loop, of course, used for the sprint yesterday. Very short loop to make up the 1.6 kilometre sprint. Interesting performances. Rebom, I think, surprising a few by getting her second ever World Cup win, only a week on or 8 days on from her first one. Let's go, girls! So let's ID some of the athletes. You'll probably recognise Heidi Weng in the middle of your picture wearing 4. Her teammate on her left as we look, which is the World Cup leader, Tyrrell Weng. What a revelation she's been so far this season. Frida Karlsson on the right-hand side, fresh, having not sprinted yesterday. I think that's going to be a major, major feature. Anderson didn't race yesterday, Karlsson, Heidi Weng rested, Katarina Hennig rested, Calva rested. They lost points on the leaders of the World Cup, but they do have a better chance today, particularly over Tyrrell Weng, who went and finished in the top 6 yesterday. She got another podium finish in 3rd. And Weng on the left-hand side of your screen. If she tires later on, I would not be at all surprised. It's been a very full-on programme for her. Weng out of the tracks at the moment as Karlsson goes through the first checkpoint. Nearly completed the first of 20 kilometres. Further back, number 40 is Daria Beatty from Canada, and the Canadians left in the wake of the Americans really over the last few years. USA doing so well in terms of their top positions. USA, they've got 1 athlete in the top 10, that's Jess Diggins, 2 in the top 20, 3 in the top 30. I think we'll probably see 3 in the top 20 before long. Diggins the only one who's really been making her mark on the sprint scene. You might have seen the green bib go through. That's Patricia Aiduka of Latvia, the best of the under-23 athletes so far this year. Brilliantly paced 10-kilometre freestyle on Friday. She was 40 seconds down on the leader, and as far as I could work out, Aiduka with the quickest second 5 kilometres. So I think you can't afford to give away 40 seconds over the first 3K as she did. But it did indicate to me that so many of the big names, those with a lot of expectation on their shoulders, working too hard in the early stages, trying to nip up on the outside. Is that Julia Kern? I think it is, just trying to gain a couple of places, but at a price. Thea Dawson of Norway dropping a long way back already. Now I suspect that Thea Dawson had an issue, probably a stumble, maybe interfered with, because how has she gone from the 3rd rank all the way back, almost to the back of the pack? And that's an expensive error, because suddenly the pace has turned up and we've got, what, 2 columns of 6, so 12 athletes starting to make an impression. Östberg 11. Östberg, interesting case. She's a fantastic athlete. She was the overall World Cup winner in 2019. She won the Tour de Ski on that occasion by a massive margin of 2:42, but later on was banned by the Norwegian Ski Federation, not for a doping offence, but for health issues. They just didn't feel that her food intake, her calorific intake was high enough to be safe, and she was losing weight rapidly. And yeah, she's suffered 3 bans now, but brilliant to see her back. She was cleared last month, only last month, to race this season, so it's been a problematic time for Ingvild Östberg, and I think everyone wishing her well this year. And I think top 10 in the World Cup standings, I think that would be good. She's not far off it at the moment. The cross-country tour going to Badastolen next week. Hopefully Posey Musgrave, the sister of Andrew Musgrave, will be available to come and join us in the commentary box, and hopefully Andy Musgrave will still be skiing as he has been so far this season. He goes later on today, 12 o'clock start UK time for the men's 20 kilometre, mass start again. I expect Musgrave to feature. He certainly gets a good start. So the red bib of the distance World Cup leader, that's Eva Andersson, just edging out in front. I think she's the one really turning the screw at the moment. Those who did the sprint, particularly Tiril Udnesveng, would be glad of a steady pace. Udnesveng on the left of your screen. You've got Andersson wearing red and the Swedish colours, number 6, that's Kalva, standing tall very early. 12 over on the far side is Niskanen. Frida Karlsson wearing 3 and the big white headband. She's probably in 5th or 6th place as they go under the banner. The bollards all changed as of yesterday. The sprint course turned right at this section, and they'll be down and into the stadium for the first lap of 3.3, 6:08 at 2.3. So we'd expect to be certainly under 9 minutes for the first 3.3. Multiply that by 6. So we're looking, what are we looking at? Around 53, 54 minutes for a winning time today. Not particularly quick. 20k, quite a long distance for the women. They did obviously race over the 30. Is their sort of super long distance. Only do a couple of 30k's every year, but the 20, I think, a bigger advantage for the good 50k skiers than it is for those who are fast over 10. So all the big guns up the front, and after a little burst of speed halfway around that first lap, I think things settling down because not a lot of damage has been done to the back of the group here in the women's 20. 59 athletes entered in all, and Andersson, Kalva, Hennig, Karlsson, Weng the top 5. Moa Ilar of Sweden going well in 6th, Heidi Weng in 7th, only 0.9 of a second, so the first 10 separated by just over a second. Palmer-Koski still in there, Usberg, Amundsen, Fossersholm, and Fossersholm I think showing signs she's coming good. Jess Diggins sitting at 1.5 behind in 11th place, just ahead of Feindrich and Dahlqvist, the 2 sprinters. I think Tuula Uusnesvang probably the performer of the season so far. Over on the far side, number 5, Katarina Hennig. It's been a brilliant season for her, just missing her first win. She's now had 5 podiums, no wins, but she was only denied by Diggins in the very closing stages of the 10-kilometre freestyle. 3.8 seconds the margin. Diggins starting some 13 minutes after Hennig on that occasion, so Diggins got all the splits. She knew exactly what she had to do, and as I mentioned her, she moves to the front wearing bib number 7. Hennig alongside her. Number 6 is Calver. So those athletes are obviously not happy with the pace being set in the early stages. 31 has done well, that's Emma Rebohm. She's moved up. Bonus points for the winner, which I think in a mass start is fair enough. Therese Stadlober, you just saw a glimpse of her, the Austrian, just trying to improve her position. And anyone else dropped out? We noticed that Thea Dawson was struggling a little. Just waiting to see if she can wheedle her way through to the front again. Up to 4.2. Hennig leading for the first time ahead of Calver. Calver was an average junior, very average. It was sort of in the Norwegian squad, but really didn't make any impression at Junior World Championships. By the under-23s, she was starting to show signs, and then getting her World Cup debut in 2013. So she's been a while now, the 30-year-old, but a late bloomer, and certainly doing pretty well this season. 6th place, or 5th place in the Distance World Cup, with the results that she's produced so far. Marsic of Poland just going through wearing 42. Have we got, how much of a split have we got? Really there's a gap between 43 and 44 in terms of position, but the top 40 really only separated by 15 seconds, and no huge gaps appearing. But with a little incident like that, we will get some issues. 28 is Lerman of Germany. Slight panic going on there. 56 going down in spectacular style. You wouldn't expect that from Olivia Bouffard-Nesbitt, but not really her fault. There was obstruction on the track. Let's have a... Can you pick out what's going on here? Oh, that was... quite a big fall. Nadine Feindrich, I think that was, the Swiss athlete, and then Bouffard-Nesbitt. She's not going to live that one down. We're going to see that a few times, just disappearing off the edge. It's the slow pace that's causing the problems. Usberg now getting squeezed out, number 11, as she tries to get towards the front. And a good game from Maya Dahlqvist, knocking on the door, number 45. There really is nowhere to go, but after the disqualification of Halvarsson up in Ruka, no one wants to step outside the bollards. Maybe they could have just moved it a little bit further across, and 6 inches or so would have evened it up, because the track on the other side is obviously the route on the way back to the stadium. Sitting in 10th equal. Well, welcome back, and a little bit of drama with a few fallers earlier on. Nadine Feindrich of Switzerland, pretty sure it was bib 18, quite difficult to discern between 18 and 19 because both the USA and Switzerland with similar suits. Well, unless they string themselves out, and Anderson really is working hard at the front now, everyone else behind her looks to be very comfortable. 5k completed. Next time we'll see them will be through the stadium for the second time, so that will be just over 6.6 kilometres. And the tempo of Anderson up the front, wearing the red bib, certainly showing some intent, but actually she's not getting away. Calver behind her, just wanting to stick with her. Hennig over on the far side looks very comfortable for Germany, wearing 5. 7 is Jess Diggins, who's got what she wanted, a slightly faster pace. Emma Reboom's still there, so the sprinters are still in this one. Reboom, Dahlqvist still looking good, and we'll see. Can they win over 1,600 metres and over 20,000? Seems unlikely, but it's all going well at the moment. Frida Karlsson fans will be happy that she's pretty much still there over on the far side. If we get a close-up of Karlsson, just have a look, see if there's any lack of symmetry in her technique, indicating that she is still having problems with the hip. Heidi Weng tucked in behind Frida Karlsson. Well, that's the first injection of pace that we've seen, and Karlsson absolutely no qualms about just barging her way in ahead of Jess Diggins. Some would show the former overall World Cup champion a little bit more respect than that, but Diggins won't get flustered. Very calm character. Emma Reboom sitting behind Diggins at the moment, and now the margins start to grow from 15 seconds separating the top 40. Is that going to have increased? I think it will have done. Fossesholm, slightly concerned about her, not on her best form. Stuart Jones, Stadlober way off the mark, the Austrian. I thought she'd have been in the mix at this stage of the race. Well, it's still around 15 seconds between the top 40, but
Katie Kasiko, Estonia, Olivia Bouffard, Nesbitt, and the next is Floria Dolce of France.
Yeah, a few of those athletes just being mentioned on the stadium speakers involved in that crash on that second lap. Ebba Andersson, a powerful double polar. Ebba Andersson, of course, the winner of the first classic race of the season up in Ruka. That was race 2 of the year after that opening sprint, and again she got the pacing off her teammate Karlsson, who has just taken the lead on that right hand turn. Now it will come to the stage, and I wouldn't be surprised that if 4 or 5 athletes try and get away here, because at the moment you are stuck in the lane that you're in. So when you have a left-hand turn, if you're on the right-hand side, you're doing 2 or 3 meters. We've all seen athletics tracks and the stagger, the considerable stagger that you have for a 400-meter run. Well, these athletes don't necessarily have to stay in their lane, but if all the others are full, they do. So if you can get out on your own and then cut the corners, you're going to save yourself a considerable amount of both energy and time. Emma Reboom, 31, dropping off the pace for the first time. 10 is Palmer Koski, now finds herself some 40 metres off the lead of the 2 Swedes, who have decided to push the pace after 2 laps. And if you were with us in Ruka in the pursuit start, Karlsson and Andersson starting pretty much together. They went hard from the gun. Today they've allowed themselves 2 steady laps to get warmed up. 5 is Hennig, she's going with them as well. Heidi Weng starting to struggle a little bit. Just behind her is Ingvild Østberg. There's Palmer Koski again wearing 10. 32 is Stuart Jones, going pretty well actually. Stuart Jones of Canada, and that will make up for Bouffard Nesbitt's tumble earlier on. 46, Anna Duvik worked hard to get up with the leaders, but suddenly we are down to a group of 5, and surprisingly, Heidi Weng and Jess Diggins just off the back of that group, and somewhat 15 metres adrift. Heidi Weng didn't race yesterday. Diggins did and went all the way through to the final, so I wouldn't be surprised if she was a little bit tired. So just looking, Tyrrell Udnes-Weng, I think I'm right in saying that Tyrrell Udnes is still in that leading group, which is mightily impressive because she was one of the athletes that went all the way. She's got the yellow bib, there she is, with the big Elon on the top of the bib, and she stands tall, and that stretch of downhill allows the chasers to catch up. But I think that is a decisive break, which means that instead of having everyone involved, bonus points at 8.3, which is why we saw that injection of speed. Hennig getting the 15 seconds, Mandel of Slovenia getting 15 as well, so they were obviously tied. Ebba Anderson 12, Anna Svensson 10, Lilimpera getting herself in there. Tyrrell Udnes-Weng 5 bonus points gained. Bonus points at 14.9 as well, so with 5.1 Ks to go, that will be another interesting sprint. Next of the splits at 9 kilometres. So we were down to 5, and let's have a guesstimate. What have we got? 11, 12 in that front group, 3 on that right-hand column. Probably closer to 15, actually, to be honest. And Palmer Koski has made contact with the group. We haven't mentioned Niskanen so far. Just wondering where she's dropped down to. She was in 15th, 9 seconds down. Niskanen wearing bib number 12, saw her earlier on. Lilimpera is there. Palmer Koski is there for Finland. 13 is Ila Moa of Sweden. Well, we'll get the next split time in just a moment. What we do know, Anderson leads, the winner of the first classic race. She's got her nemesis just behind her, Carlsen. Calver of Norway up there. Hennig, who's looking for yet another podium. Can she get her first win today? Niskanen, Weng, Carl is there. Diggins back in touch, less than 2 seconds behind. Heidi Weng, 3.3 seconds on the podium in the classic race, on the freestyle race on Friday. And number 20 at the back of the pack is Margrethe Bergan of Norway, having a very good run at the moment. I think she'll be delighted that things have come back together. First sign that Tyrrell Udnes-Weng is working hard. She's over on the, there she is, just going through. And will the coaches be concerned? She's only, what, 8-9 metres off the leaders, but she's been sitting in 3rd or 4th place all the way through, and I think that's really where she wants to be. And now she finds herself down in around 15th. Frida Carlsen takes over the leader's duties. Alongside her is Ann-Kirsti Calver. Calver, 15th in the distance standings. She comes from a place called Lundamo, which is, if you can visualise the map of Norway, it's right at the base of the narrow section before you get that bulb, the larger area. Emma Riebom still in that leading group as they approach the halfway stage. going through the 9k stage. The first gap really appearing between 18th and 19th position. Maja Dahlqvist some 5 seconds adrift of Anna Svensson, and then Urvet Stadlober, Lilimpera in that group. Delphine Claudel is there as well. Fossersholm, work to do at 19 seconds behind the leaders. Lara Gimler some 20 seconds down on the leaders, and Yanatova of the Czech Republic, I thought we might see something special from her, but at the moment 29.4 behind the lead set by Ebba Andersson and Frida Karlsson. And as I say it, it's Moa Ilar who comes through to take her share of the lead. Third time through, halfway stage reached now. When it comes to the final, it will be straight on at this section, and the same finish as they saw in both races so far, but particularly we saw it a lot in yesterday's sprint race. The men's race starting at 1 o'clock local, so 12 o'clock if you're watching in the UK. 4 British athletes racing. Andy Musgrave with the most expectation. We sort of expect to see him in the top 10 again. We're getting used to seeing him in the top 5. So Ilar leads the way through after 10 kilometres, 26:47 on the clock. So the race settling down. We're through the halfway stage, and we've got 21 in this front group, with the addition of Stadlober of Austria right at the back. Last time we saw her, there she is on the left hand side wearing 16. As is often the case, we get the DNFs and the DNSs fairly late on, but just in case you're unaware, Serbia's Ilic has not started today. McCabe of USA and Rosie Brennan of USA not starting. I'm really hoping there's not a bug going through the American camp, because that's 2 races in a row that Rosie Brennan has missed. And then Daria Beatty of Canada has pulled out. Now, I'm not sure whether that's a ski issue or whether she's not feeling well or whether she was involved in that tumble that we saw on the second lap. 10.9 completed. Anderson, Hennig, Weng, Niskanen, Heidi Weng, Calver, Carlson, all the big names up the front. No one really giving an inch at the moment today. They want to be ready should someone try and make a break. Anderson doing a lot of work at the moment. There's Carlson wearing 3, been fairly well protected. She has led, but not much. Jess Diggins, hard to believe she's not tired after a really tough start to the season. Her results have gone 23, 21, 10, 1, and then just missing out on the podium yesterday in 4th. But she's back on form and no doubt trying to reclaim the overall World Cup title. And if you want it this year, I don't have any doubt that you've got to pick up a mass of points in the sprint as well as the distance races. Change in the scoring system. Instead of 100 for first, 80 for second, 60 for third, and then 50 for fourth, it's 100 for first, 95 for second, you've got 90 for third, 91, no, it can't be 91, it must be 85 for 4. So the big bonus of winning or finishing in the top 3 no longer exists. It's going to be interesting to see how many of the distance racers who fancy their chances of winning the overall and really thinking of someone like Ebba Andersson, whether they start to enter the sprints. 32, Stuart Jones of Canada, outstanding performance from her. And then, as you can see, a substantial gap back to Eva Urvitz. She's got Maja Dahlqvist with her. 20 is Bagan of Norway. We saw her feature earlier on. Delphine Claudel of France. She was up there in the sprint, but she put a lot of effort in. I'm pretty sure she got some bonus points at the sprint. I may be wrong there. 2 more to go after this. The bonus trophy, 15 to Jess Diggins. And that doesn't quite tie in with the bonus points that we got at 8.3, and the second lot of bonus points come at 14.9, so we've still got 12 minutes or so before we go through that section, maybe a little bit less than that. The next split we'll get at 12.3 right now, so Ila finds herself in front. Niskanen, Carlsen, Weng, Karl making up the top 5. Tirlund Sveng, the World Cup leader, just 1 second down in 5th position. Any surprise inclusion in that group? I think Stuart Jones of Canada is probably the most unlikely. And we haven't mentioned Ishida, Masako Ishida, 42 years old, and there she is, just 3 seconds off the lead in this classic mass start event in Lillehammer. She's ahead of Kaloinen, Svensson, Stadlober at 5 seconds for Austria, and then a 20-second gap between Stadlober and Dahlqvist. Dahlqvist really struggling a little bit in no man's land at the moment. So the winner, I think we can safely say, is coming out of the top 19. Stadlober again losing contact. She cannot afford that, needs to get in the group, get carried along by the group. Yeah, I was just wondering whether Stadlober's got a slow pair of skis, because after the downhill sections she's often 10-15 metres behind. Now she works hard, gains ground on the uphill. Oh, that's so depressing, but skis have played a big part in the racing here this weekend, certainly in the freestyle. The Swedes didn't think they had decent skis, the Germans certainly did. So nearly brought Katarina Hennig her first win, but Hennig is there again, wearing number 5, just tucking in behind the fastest skiers. 9 is Victoria Karl, slightly taller than Hennig. Yeah, she's having a great race. She said she wanted possibly a top 10, but her biggest priority today was to learn something. Well, she's got a huge amount of experience, to be honest. Athlete from Zellermelis, formerly in Eastern Germany, has produced some big biathlon stars in the past. Carlsen looks as though she's winding it up, but if she were to name 3 athletes who she didn't want behind her, one of them would be Parma Koski, because Parma Koski is a real fighter. How many times did we see Parma Koski hanging on to the tails of Björgen and Johaug, as she is doing to Frida Karlsson at the moment? Real fighter, so good to see her still on the tour. Parma Koski only 31, from Luhalati. I think that's just to the west of Jyväskylä, a long way north and west of Helsinki. Well, I wonder where your money is at the moment. It'd be nice to get an unusual nation on the podium. Having said that the Canadians are in the wake of the Americans this season, delighted to see that the Canadians have representation in that leading group. And Stuart Jones of Canada, ranked 32 in the World Cup standings at the moment, still in that group. 52 is Eva Ervits. So 13.3 completed. Our next split will be at 14.2. Still no substantial breakout front, but Carlsen, she's done a fair amount of leading. She is rested, didn't race yesterday. Well, with so many in this group, I think the final lap is going to be something spectacular. What do you feel for Jess Diggins' hope? She's a good sprinter, but at the moment she is at the back of that group of 21. We've got Stadlober again off the pace. Oh, you've got to feel for Stadlober. Every downhill section she loses, and then she works and works and works to get herself back up into contention, and then the next downhill is her undoing. Reminds me of the Norwegian skis in Sochi back in 2014, where they just couldn't find a pair of skis to work, having invested many millions of kroner on their waxing team. There you go, 16, Stadlober. She's in touch. Well, the one bit of good news for Stadlober is it's uphill into the stadium, so she's got a chance, but I think she's going to be absolutely shot come that stage. Heidi Weng losing ground to Carlsen on this climb. Weng wearing 4 on the left-hand side of your picture. 22, trying to gain a few places, is Novi McCabe of USA. Where's Jess Diggins? There she is, wearing 7. Little slip from Jess Diggins. That won't help her effort today. Alongside her is Victoria Karl of Germany, and suddenly that leading group split into 2 now, and those at the back have got to do something dramatic if they're going to get back in touch. It's always the big uphills where the damage is done, and it's Carlsen. No surprise to see Carlsen leading the way. Youngest ever World Championship gold medalist when she was part of the relay team in Seefeld in 2019. What a race that was. Sweden beating Norway to the relay title. Frida Karlsson, the daughter of Anne-Marie Karlsson, who was an Olympic skier as well. The 92 Olympics where she featured, was that Albertville? I think it must have been. 94 was Lillehammer when they switched, so the Winter and Summer Olympics weren't on the same years. That was a good move. And there is a group of 3 out front. Plenty of Norwegians chasing. Expect to see them close it down on the downhill. But Frida Karlsson's intentions clear. Make your break on the uphill. That's where those with the biggest capacity can get away. But can they capitalise now? Another section of climbing up towards the 14.9 kilometre stage. I don't think this is just a burst for the points, although Ebba Andersson certainly is in there. And it's Andersson, Carlsen, the 2 women expected to be the greatest rivals on the World Cup Tour this year. They steal the bulk of the points, and not quite sure. Yeah, Kalva was right up there as well for Norway. She's given the 15. I think we may see some adjustments on my computer screen. Carlsen, Kalva, Sunnarsen have all been given points. There's definitely an issue there. Andersson was put down in 4th place, but I'll see if that corrects itself over the next couple of minutes. 15 bonus points. Could be all it takes come the end of the season to top the table. We're expecting a closer season than we've had for many years. So the 2 Swedes we know about, Carlsen and Andersson, both there. Hennig looking comfortable for Germany just behind them. 12 is Kerttu Niskanen. Just double checking, yes, Kerttu Niskanen is there. Palmer Koski is in that leading group as well. So after that burst of speed to try and pick up the bonus points, Heidi Weng has got herself back in touch, and Heidi Weng looks as though she's injecting a little bit of pace. Next time through the stadium, remember, it will be 1 lap to go. Heidi Weng is one of those she's done okay in sprints, but she's not an out-and-out sprinter. I think she'll want to go for a long run for home. So Carlsen, Kalva, Andersson. No real changes, and we've still got Therese Stadlober playing yo-yo at the back of this group. She's in touch at the top, she's out of touch at the bottom, and again she finds herself 10-15 metres behind. So unfortunate for her. And Niskanen just making a move 12 to come up alongside Karlsson, who leads for Sweden at the moment. Through the stadium for the penultimate time. Next time the pace here will be all out as they bid for the top positions. Well, in the past, and when I say the past, I mean last year, we would have expected there to be a massive margin between the leading three. Usually Johaug way ahead, splitting the group up, and that was a big sprint from Karlsson. She's going for 3.3. It's a long way from home, but they're slow to respond. Anderson tries to wind it up. Heidi Weng is the one trying to close the gap. That is interesting. Is that a decisive break? Well, not yet. But if Karlsson goes into the next uphill with a lead of 20-25 metres, that may be good enough to seal her second victory of the year. Coming through to 16.7. She certainly hasn't miscounted. She knows she's still got another 3.3 to go. Weng in second, Anderson still there. Hennig needs to respond. Niskanen, Rebom, the sprinter. Now if she's in touch with 500 metres to go, keep an eye on her. Parmakoski, Østberg, Stuart Jones of Canada still there. Masako Ishida of Japan still within 6 seconds of the leaders. Brilliant skiing from Ishida. Well, this is the chase group, absolutely no way back for them. At the last split point, the margin was just under 50 seconds. I think it may well be over a minute. The pace pretty sedate in this chasing group. In there we've got Fossesholm, Maja Dahlqvist is in there, Lara Gimler of Germany is in that group as well. Delphine Claudel, Bagan, who featured earlier on for Norway, and they're just taking it steady. And I think they're going to be over 2 minutes off the pace by the time we come through for the finish, which will not be long. The first 3.3 kilometre loop in this 6-lap race taking just 8 minutes 50. So I think we're looking at about 8 minutes. And guess what? Karlsson has maintained that lead. Now, that's interesting because one of Karlsson's strengths, and we've seen it again and again, is her double poling prowess when it's a flat finish. She's used that on the finish section to get herself a lead of 40 metres. I think she may be away and clear. Who's going to try and close the gap? It's Ebba Andersson at the moment doing the work, taking Hennig with her, and we've got Heidi Weng there as well, looking for the yellow bib of Tyrrell Udnis. Weng, haven't seen it so far. Well, all the coaches giving time splits when it's as tight as this, they don't really know. 5 seconds was what I heard, and it's number 5, Katarina Hennig, who has done the bulk of the closing. She's going absolutely brilliantly at the moment. So exciting for Germany to have Hennig going well. She comes from Königswald, so I imagine the bars in Königswald are going absolutely daft at the moment as Hennig makes her way up the hill. She was 11th in the World Cup last year. She was 11th in the World Cup the year before. This time round, she's 4th in the Distance World Cup. And Hennig, where is she in the overall? She's down in 8th in the overall because she didn't sprint yesterday. Well, that looks as though it was a good decision. Only 0.3 behind. Anderson in 3. Ishida moves her way up in a 4. Niskanen, Østberg, Parmakoski, the stars of old, are suddenly struggling with the pace being set by the youngsters, although we cannot include Ishida in that list of youngsters. What's the margin? Ishida was 4 seconds behind Anderson last time we saw. So suddenly Hennig goes out front, doing the Swedes a favour. I think they'll be delighted to see her there. But look at the gap. Suddenly we have a huge gap. 3-4 Norwegians in that chasing group now. Ishida a little bit in no man's land for Japan. Tilludnesveng was in 7th last time we saw, 8 seconds down. But in terms of the overall World Cup, she's got 93 points advantage over Jess Diggins, and she's still a couple of seconds ahead of Jess Diggins. So Veng, I feel, will head to Beiderstolen with the yellow bib. Here are your top three. What's the order going to be? Anderson just asking Carlson to move out. Carlson doesn't budge an inch. There's great spirit in the Swedish team, but there's a massive rivalry between those two. A little bit careless there from Calva. Finds herself just stumbling, but recovers well. But is that Hennig? I think it is Hennig. Oh, that's absolutely disastrous for Hennig. Not sure what happened there. She's got a broken pole, and suddenly her chances of a victory looking pretty slim. She's back in with the chase group, and the two Swedes are out on their own. Oh, what misfortune. Well, I'm not sure how that happened. I very much doubt Hennig broke it herself. So she's going to throw the one she's been given away. She gets one of her own. Good work from the German team. That's only 50 metres or so. It's going to take another few seconds. Probably wait until the downhill to get the strap around the wrist. And Hennig's misfortune offers a podium opportunity to someone else. Now keep an eye on the leaders. It's up the top of the hill. Well, I'm not sure whether she broke it on the back of Carlson's ski. Oh, it's so difficult. Was it that second stumble that busted? Yeah, it may well have been. May well have been. Oh, you have to feel for Katarina Hennig. And the two Swedes are going to take full advantage. They will not wait. There's a little bit of luck involved in winning a race. There's a little bit of bad luck involved occasionally, and today that has fallen to Katarina Hennig. I thought we might have seen her first ever World Cup win. Second in the 10-kilometre freestyle on Friday, and she was in such a good position to challenge for the top spot today. Well, similar pictures to the ones we saw in Ruka in the freestyle event, where Anderson and Carlsberg were away and clear. Their margin on that occasion was up around 45 seconds to a minute. Now they have only a matter of 10-15 metres, so they cannot afford to ease up. 1 kilometre to go. The margin between second and third sits at 4.3 seconds. Heidi Veng in 4. Hennig, well, credit to her, she's only lost 5 seconds as a result of that broken pole, but can she do anything to get back in touch? One more climb where she's going to have to do the damage, and of course they come up and into the stadium. That might be an opportunity for the German, who's obviously on very good form when it comes to the uphills. Norway, well, their best position at the moment is Heidi Veng in 4, and then we've got Calva 6 seconds down. Tillednes Veng still in the top 10. Those will be useful points for the overall World Cup leader. Usberg, who finished 10th in the freestyle race on Friday, is she going to get her best of the season and get herself into the top 5? Needs to accelerate, because we're coming into the closing stages now. Just over 500 metres to go, and Carlson's the athlete with a better double poling. We've seen that already today, and she's starting to put the pressure on Anderson, who's sitting in second place. But suddenly the chase group, led by Heidi Veng at the moment, are coming back closer to the Swedes, who may be paying for the price of going hard at the start of this third lap. It really was a very long run for home, and have a look on the left of your screen. It's the overall World Cup leader, Tillednes Veng, who's made the most ground over the last 400 metres up towards the stadium. Just 250 metres to go from the banner, and Tillednes Veng is up into the top 3. Trying to keep an eye on Katarina Hennig, who broke the pole with just over 1.5 kilometres to go. Hennig is still in there wearing 5, so there's still a chance she could get on the podium. That would be a remarkable comeback, and suddenly Carlson has lost Anderson, but she's not shaken off Tillednes Veng, who's looking for her first win of her season. Tillednes Veng, 4 podiums so far in her career. Is today going to be the day that she puts it right? They go up to the top of the stadium, a 180-degree turn, then back down towards the finish. They've still got just over 100 metres to go. 20 seconds of skiing. It's Sweden, Norway, Sweden, then it's Finland. Is that Palmakoski in there? It could well be, or is it Niskanen? We need to get a little bit closer to see which of the Finns has got herself back in touch. It's Palmakoski, the veteran from Finland. But now Carlsen winds it up, uses those long limbs to gain the advantage. It's going to be another victory, a second one for Carlsen for the season. And Tiril Utnisveng, when you think she's out, she rises and fights. She's back again, another second place, fifth podium. That win has got to come at some stage. What a dramatic finish. And when you lose a champion like Johaug, suddenly World Cup racing is a whole lot more exciting. So Carlsen gets the win, Veng in second, Anderson 3, and Krista Palmakoski just a second off the podium, down in 4, ahead of her teammate Niskanen. Ila